Oh, Nat, I'm telling you, the fish I caught, it was this big. Yeah, and I totally failed at making my character make his arms move, but that's okay. What's going on, people? I'm over here. I'm a horde inside my garrison here. This is my level 3 garrison, and I want to show a couple different fishing spots that I've been kind of playing around with and locating here. Good fishing spots for Fishmonger. In the help file, I actually have a spot that's located down here, and while that does work good, it really only works good at certain times of the day. One of the things I've noticed. In fact, on a lot of the Fishmonger videos now moving forward, I have to note the time of day that I'm fishing because the color of the bobber actually changes as the time of the day changes. And I know you're going to say, wait, you're in a cave. How does that make sense? Well, welcome to the world of Warcraft. Some things just don't make sense. And right now it is 11:13 server time. I'm sorry, 8:11 server time. It's 8 o'clock server time, 11 o'clock. Whatever my time is. Yeah, 11 o'clock my time, and then 8 o'clock server time. So, I found this nice little area here. If you notice where the sun's coming through here, it's kind of, first of all, it's kind of neat, because you can see, like, right over there is, well, sun, whatever, brightness is coming through. But that makes for a really, really good spot to fish. Now, how to get down there, or how to fish over there, you just kind of come on down over here, and not swim, but kind of stand here on the side, and kind of look this general direction, alright? And if you cast, look at that. Really, really bright top white of the bobber. The feathers are pretty dark. Even if I go a little bit to the left, if anything, it just gets brighter over there. If I go to the right, it stays pretty bright. Kind of fades out pretty quick, but it's over in this area here. You can see when you start casting in that bright white, pretty much a lot of that area comes out really good. All right, it's not every single spot, but a lot of spots. Actually, right here is like working out pretty nice. So just to give you an idea of where I'm at, my coordinates are 38.3, 81.1, and if I zoom out, you can kind of see kind of where I'm standing here. Kind of give you a general idea in the direction I'm casting. Kind of facing that way towards Hardnon, the herbalist dude over there. So I'm gonna bring up Fishmonger, bring up the overlay, kind of do a couple casts, just kind of make sure I'm in the search box, and I am. And based on the color of my bobber here, I think I want to hit somewhere around 120, 115. So I'm gonna try 115. And I'm just gonna start fishing and just see what comes up. I got I got bobber tracking on, so I can see where the hand sees the color I'm searching for. And actually, you can see what it's seeing right now is top of the bobber, but it's also seeing the top of my feathers every once in a while. That's why the hand shifts to the left, because it sees the top of the feathers. If the top of the feathers are bright enough, what'll happen is the hand will just pop back and forth, and sometimes you get fishing errors on that, like the first cast I did. Well, let's let it run just a little bit and see what comes up, because I'm not going to base my fishing numbers here on just a handful of casts. You want to let it run 5 or 10 times to see if you can notice a pattern. The nice thing is here, I'm not seeing the rocks in the background. I'm not seeing anything in the background. It's seeing the bobber every time. The problem is it's just seeing the bobber and it's seeing the feathers. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make it just see the bobber and not the feathers there, I want to get rid of it doing that dance, where it's dancing back and forth to the left. I'm going to hit F7 to stop, and I'm actually going to lower these numbers, the color sensitivity, all right? Because, again, when you lower the color sensitivity, you're telling Fishmonger, hey, I want you to search for this color, which in this case, color 1 is white. You can see color 2 over here is black, color 1 is white. I want you to search for white, and I want you to search for like 100 shades away from white. So you can think of it like bright white is here, and then it just gets darker and darker and darker and darker white until you're in like the grayish, the moldy grays over here. So the more you slide this bobber this way, the brighter white you're searching for. The more you slide the bobber this way, the darker white you're searching for. So because I don't want it to search for that kind of half white on top of the feather, lower the numbers a bit, give it another go, and just see if that corrects it. And I like to make changes. I like to make small changes, changes in the sensitivity of somewhere in the range of 10 or 15 at a time, because that way I can see if I'm making an improvement or if it's not making an improvement. And, ooh, actually, that's interesting. It looks like when I do cast to the left, I get nice bright bobbers. If I cast to the right, that is kind of more of a grayish kind of tint. Although at a setting of 100 here, it doesn't seem to be affecting it. It seems like it's still seeing the top of the bobber and not seeing the feathers, which is what we're looking for. And, wow, look at that. That bobber literally moved like a half a foot in the water, but look at that color difference. That bobber there is a hell of a lot brighter than that other one. Apparently, my guy's got stiff arm because I keep casting at the same exact spot. So I must be really liking that spot over there. But so far, 3 for 3. Not bad. And that was just by making that tiny little change in the color sensitivity. I took it from 115 to 100. And that small little change will make a large difference when it comes to the searching of the color of what you're looking for in the bobber. Quick note, over on Fishmonger, you saw that little, let me pause this real quick. Let me pause it after the next fish. The slider, I was just changing, the color sensitivity slider. Again, that's the slider that affects the searching of the color on the screen, right here. The other slider above it, which actually says bobber search sensitivity, really not worded very well. I didn't quite think that through. Really what that should say is like bobber strike sensitivity or bobber catch sensitivity or bobber movement sensitivity. That might be a good word there, movement. Because what this does is this looks for how much the bobber moves. This looks for the color of the bobber along with this color setting here. So it's kind of like you can say, all right, this is how do I find the bobber on the screen? And then this is, okay, after I found the bobber, how do I know I caught a fish, right? And with the lower number here for a search sensitivity, basically it says that, hey, you want, like any tiny, tiny, tiny movement in the bobber, you want to catch the fish. When you're up here, it's, hey, we'll let the bobber move a pretty good amount before you say you caught a fish. So my general findings are somewhere in the range of 3 to 4 is kind of where you want to be, all right? So I'll unpause this. Actually, I'm going to tape off bobber tracking real quick. And I'm just going to show you up here the bobber search sensitivity. Or let's try that again. The bobber search sensitivity here. Right now it's saying range. It just changed from 4 to 3 because I just changed that slider here from 4 to 3. But it's saying, all right, so the bobber itself, right now, it's just kind of sitting in the water and it's moving up and down, and it's not really moving a lot. Which is why this number is like 0, -1, 1, 0, because it sees the bobber and it sees that it's just kind of lazily sitting in the water. When the bobber moves a lot, like it's catching a fish, or when the program sees that it's moving a lot, this number jumps up. You can just see the previous one, I think it jumped to 11, that one it jumped to 10, or -10. This one, it's jumped to 5, right? So the fact that this number here was greater than the range of numbers here, that initiated the catch. So you really want to set, when you're setting your search sensitivity here, you basically want to set this number to be a little bit above whatever it sees here when it's not catching a fish. And oftentimes, it doesn't really go above 2 or 3. It depends on a lot of things, though, like how close you are to the bobber, the height of your character when you're fishing, because like the further away from the bobber you are, the smaller it is, the less it moves. If you cast really close to yourself, it actually moves up and down a lot. If I get really low to the water and I cast, what happens is I see the bobber almost from the same height of the water, like your character's head's at the height of the water. So because the head of the character is almost the same height of the water, when the bobber moves up and down, it moves up and down a lot because you're looking at it from that same angle. But if you're kind of like standing up really high from the water and looking down at the bobber still moves up and down, but generally not as much. So the standing sensitivity, or its resting sensitivity when it's in the water, is different, or it's lower. So, but you know, that number generally in the 3 to 4 range is really where you got to be. You don't have to change it too much. It's the color sensitivity that really is going to make the biggest difference. And of course, finding a spot to fish that has the color you're looking for. All right, I'm 2 minutes in. I'm 12 for 12 and 100%. I can honestly say that, you know, again, at like 8:22 in the morning here where I'm at, this is a great spot to fish for these settings. It's working out really good. If I were to do something like simply, I'll pause this after this one and just move my character to the right, right, and then try fishing again. Without changing anything, it's going to run into huge problems. Because now I'm looking in a completely different direction. And because I'm looking in a completely different direction, the color of my bobber changed. So I just missed 3 in a row because of that. So just to show you, oops, pause this again. Those minor changes in Fishmonger, like the direction you're looking, will really affect how the fishing comes out. So if I come back in this direction here, and I load up fishing again, I should get that nice bright color, which really matches the settings that I'm looking for here. So I'm gonna let it catch a couple more fish. I'm gonna stop this video and I'm gonna switch over to a different location. I actually had another video where I was over in Nagrand or Nagrand or whatever the hell you want to call it, and I was fishing up some fat sleepers, and I totally forgot to hit record when I was making the video. So it really sucked. So I gotta make that video over again. So hopefully this one's recording, and I will add those two together and get you a nice board compilation of some fishing locations. Alrighty, see you.